Hey, hey, it's the trap version. You got it's the trap mix.
Trap
I just need a reset. I just need a reset with the zap.
Then throw back
Reset in
Bad
the
Bunny.
trap. Woo, woo, woo,
Hey,
woo.
hey, hey. God.
All right, there's
All right.
our intro. There we go.
Hi, this is Zap, and welcome to the Reset and Zap podcast.
Welcome to the Reset and Zap podcast. It's your girl in season 4, baby.
Yes, sir.
Zappity zap.
S4.
Yeah, for
Let's go.
life. Let's go. Ride or die.
I'll just ride though. Let's not do the die part. Let's just ride.
let's not do this.
We can leave the die part out. Let's just ride, not die. How about that?
Oh, God. And with me is my partner.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy TeeJay.
You were going to go in and, you going in smooth with season 4,
Yeah,
huh?
that's gonna be my new thing now.
Is this your new smooth?
That's my new thing. I'm just gonna come. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy TeeJay.
You remind me of the suavemente meme that we keep talking about.
Suave, suavemente.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna dress up as Suavemente again in 1 year.
1 year for Spookadon.
Yeah, I'm just be Suavemente again.
Suavemente all
I'm
day.
so come in Suavemente.
And it goes suave.
Suave.
Everybody, what is up? And you probably are asking, what in the world is wrong with y'all? And you are correct for asking those questions. But then we would have to ask, why are you listening to the podcast?
Cause you know we crazy, bro. Come on, man. You didn't think we was crazy? Come on.
That's why we need to.
This is season 4. You should know about it.
Absolutely, because this is the reason why we need a reset every week. So thank you for tuning in, because here at the Reset and Zap podcast,
Yeah, bring it back. There you go. Do your thing.
it's all about resetting and being in the right mindset for a brand new week. Yeah, we talk about everything. What do we talk about? I mean, in season 4, we should know already.
Hey, we talk about music, games,
gaming,
life, food.
food, especially that part.
Especially that one. Yeah, that last one was very important.
Especially. Yes, that's the highlight of the podcast.
Oh yeah. I can't wait for the next food episode. It's gonna be fun.
Work-life balance, parenthood, and so much more. You know what we really talk about here in a nutshell? Adulthood. That's
Adult
what we
life.
talk about.
Adult life.
So if you're an adult, come in here. You're in the right place.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
So what we doing today?
Yeah. Well, today we actually wanted to. I was hesitating to bring this to the podcast, but
Okay.
you know what? It's one of those topics
All right.
that we need to talk about.
All right. What we talking about?
Let's hit them with a reset.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. So we're gonna talk about today how nostalgia can affect or cloud your vision
Okay.
and present joy. And we had this conversation a long time ago. You actually were the one who requested for me to include it in season 4, because I think it kind of somehow happened with us talking about how you have a recollection of good memories within retro gaming. And then later on as an adult, you know, that nostalgia can like ruin your present joy, because when you play it again, you know, the memories you had attached to it kind of creates this blurry line, you know.
Okay. That's a good example.
It's not necessarily shiny, you know. It's not necessarily blue on the other side. But this not only can be explained as in, you know, the gaming scene, we can also use it in so many other metaphors like music and so many
I was
other
actually
stuff.
already, because I already got something.
So yeah.
I already got something for this. Yeah, whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
Oh, well, without further ado, guys, let us present to you how nostalgia can ruin your present joy. With us, we have TeeJay the Gamer.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy TeeJay.
No, but seriously, I would love to start talking about this. Like, how can nostalgia affect or even ruin your points of view in life? You know, your vision and your present joy.
Okay. All right. Well, actually, as you were saying it, you were talking about gaming, but the first thing that actually popped into my head was music. And it's actually coming from a direction I don't think a lot of people would probably expect me to come from.
Okay.
But this is honestly how I feel about it. And because you hear this a lot today in music, where people talk about, oh, modern music these days, music this day is this and is that and is that. And they do have points to some degree. But what I think a lot of people forget is like, where did that start? Perfect example. We're just going to get straight into it.
Okay.
Like a lot of people talk about how raunchy and like sexual and all the stuff that music is today. But I think nostalgia clouds our judgment to forget what our music sounded like.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, we had some ratchet, raunchy sound and stuff, too. Like, where did these people get from? We were having, like, a similar conversation about this, about how certain artists can influence other artists in the future.
Oh, yeah.
And how that, translates to that. So I think a lot of people forget that the music that we listened to wasn't necessarily the most cleanest, holy Jesus. Y'all niggas won't listen to the gospel music.
I don't think it ever has been.
Like it's always been, especially if you talk about particular genres. I mean, for me, it's always going to be hip hop and R&B.
Yeah.
And hip hop in particular, it's kind of been that way for a long time.
Yeah.
And the way I like to think about it is the era before us. Like even if you go back before us, the era before us was like the era of the drug dealer. That was like when drug dealer rap was like so big. I'm out here selling bricks all day. Like it was that kind of stuff, right? And then as that evolved, that turned into like drug user rap. Now, like a more modern rap, most people talk about how they use drugs. Like, oh, I got lean in my cup, and you know what I'm saying?
We were talking about this the other day with The Weeknd with what's the name of that song? I forgot now. Blinding.
Flashing lights.
Flashing lights or blinding lights.
Blinding lights, something like that.
And it's exactly about that.
Yeah. And then you take a step into modern day. Now it's like popping pills and all that. Percocet, Molly Percocet. You know what I'm saying? Like it started somewhere. And I think a lot of the times our nostalgia shades us to the origin of where a lot of this stuff comes from. Like gangster rap evolved into drug dealer rap, which evolved into using drug rap, which turned into this. So like all that stuff comes from somewhere. And I think our nostalgia could sometimes make us think something that's not necessarily true, like in your gaming example. Like we're like, oh, music this day is this and that, but like, yeah, but so was our music too. And the music before that, and the music before that. Because even our parents would be like, oh, y'all music is so nasty, and then they forget they had sexual healing,
Yeah.
When I get that feeling, I want sexual healing. Like they forget that stuff was pretty. Like, come on, what do you think man was talking about? He won't talk about praying and get on his knees talking to Jesus.
I was thinking about that right now.
The clean up woman, talk about another woman stealing somebody else's man and stuff. The clean up woman, she was making it like it all comes from somewhere. And I think a lot of the times nostalgia will make us see our stuff as greater than or better than what it really was. And look, going back to your gaming example, you was exactly like a big one for me is the Ocarina of Time. Absolutely love that game. Still to this day, I love that game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Can't hold it against it. But that game got some problems.
Yeah.
Like you play that game now, the camera is really bad. The targeting system ain't that great. The combat ain't the most cleanest in the world. Like the things have evolved and grown and improved.
Yeah.
And I think we always have this like golden age or
that
back in my day, everything was better and cleaner. But that's not necessarily true.
Not necessarily.
Because you actually would disagree with most people when it comes to, and I'm going to let you go off now, Resident Evil 4.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it sucks.
Yeah, because a lot of people would say that the original is better than the remaster.
Yeah. And it's not like it's a completely bad game. It's just the same thing we just had this talk, a couple minutes ago. It's like you realize the limitations that existed in that time. And yes, I can appreciate the game and what it did for the Resident Evil series, but you also can't hide the fact that it was struggling. A lot of work was needed. And with the remake, you can tell. Because the remake is like
super clean.
The experience is completely different. And yeah, people will say, well, that's unfair. And yeah, I agree. It could be very unfair, but it doesn't erase the fact that it still had its limitations.
Yeah, technology has advanced. Things have gotten cleaner. Things have gotten better. We've understand what things we learned how camera control should work and how shooting should feel, and we've improved in a lot of ways. And a lot of people who I'm gonna have to call y'all out, a lot of these retro gamers wanted to point back to how a lot of their stuff was better, and I'm just like, but you gotta also see the flaws in that work too.
Yeah.
Like, it was good in its time, but from a modern lens, people look back at that and be like, what is that? Like, that shit look crazy. So,
and it's all, I think in my case, wow, this actually is going to hit home right now, because I wasn't expecting to bring this up in the middle of a podcast. But
let's go.
I think it's all in, one, how you see it, but secondly, what are you going to do about it? Because, for example, for me, right, I had nostalgia for my times as of quote unquote the internet, right? Because the internet back in the 90s, I was in the middle of the grand boom. You know, everything was new. Internet was the new, rave of the time. Everybody was excited. It was new. It was exciting. It was a new playground to explore. Same with writing letters. And I was like, oh man, I miss those times where you went out of your way writing a letter to someone, going to the mailbox, putting the stamp on, sending it off, and then waiting to see if this person received your letter, if they've read it, and then expecting a letter in return. Because I used to do that all the time with my cousins. I had this cousin, long distance cousin, and that was our only way we communicated. It was through letters, and it was a really good experience. And I was like, wow, we've changed so much over time, because now it's just text. People don't really even call each other. People just much rather just text each other. And texts have become more of, I've always said that, jokingly, but emojis have become the new language.
Yeah. Honestly, emojis is a language. It really is.
Yeah.
Because you can convey information just simply through emojis. If you really understand what each emoji means, like to this modern generation, they could have a whole conversation with nothing but emojis.
Just nothing but emojis. Like, there's no sentences, there's no paragraphs, everything's abbreviated. And I was like, wow, things have really changed. And all of a sudden, I started missing it. You see where I'm going with it? I was like, oh, this nostalgia started kicking in. But what I did differently was, recently, not too long ago, I had a social media detox. I completely left social media. I told everybody, I was like, look, I don't care about how many people are following me. I don't care about the numbers, and I'm gonna prove it that I don't care about it. And I deleted my Instagram, I deleted my Facebook, I deleted everything. I was off social media completely. And it was a great experience, because it made me realize, first of all, how many things I was missing out on, how present I can be in my life, how much more time I had to do other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wasn't distracted or in the need of being constantly entertained, And now I reopened a page for the podcast, obviously. So now it's not even about me. It's just the podcast. And even with the pages open, because I went through such a deep, cleansing, basically, I don't see social media the same way. And where am I going with this, you may ask? Well, when I detoxed, the first thing I mentioned to my family, I was like, if you guys want to talk to me, you know where I'm at. I got a phone. You got a phone too. Call me, text me, reach out to me directly. And we're going to see who actually looks for you now that you're not on social media. And what happened? Exactly that. All of a sudden, we started having conversations. Now people started looking for me. Now people started calling me. Now we have an hour-long conversation, because guess what? I'm not easy to find, because I'm not on social media.
That's the easy way to find out who really cares and who really interested in having and talking to you.
So I created that space to facilitate what I was feeling nostalgic for. And that's what I mean. I'm like, if you're feeling nostalgic about something, don't just stay there and complain about how good your times were. But what are you going to do about it then? Change the circumstances. It might be a hint about, hey, I might need to make a change in my life in this area. This just might be a sign.
Okay, interesting. It's a good conversation. I kind of want to take a different approach to this, and I want to ask a question.
Okay.
So we talked about how nostalgia can somehow blind us to what the reality of what we had was back then. But I kind of want to take the opposite approach. What is something that is nostalgic to you that when you go back to it still does hit the way you remember? And it doesn't even have to be necessarily even gaming, just anything in general. And I'll give you an example because I already know what mine is.
Okay.
For me, is purchasing music.
Oh, I see.
Like, I miss those days where the new Jay-Z CD just came out. I got to go to the music store and go pick up a new CD or the new cassette or whatever it was. And it was like an event. It was like a thing. It's like, all right, I got to go get it. Everybody's going to be listening to it. I got to go get it. And like, it doesn't hit the same as, the new album came out, let me just go to my phone and download it real quick.
Yeah, I see what
Like,
you mean.
it doesn't have that same eventfulness. And I the other day we was at a what was it? It was Barnes & Noble. Yeah, we was at a Barnes & Noble, and they had a record section. And I was just going through the records, and I was seeing, they had Biggie, and they had all these old records, and that nostalgic feeling kind of came back to me, and I was like, man, I really miss like going to have to go somewhere to purchase music.
Yes.
Like, that's something I feel like is still really cool, and I'm glad to see that in some ways it still exists. And it still does feel the same as it does. Like, when I was in that record store and I was in that Barnes & Noble and I saw that record section, I really just had a moment. I was like, man, I remember those days. The place we used to have in Virginia was called Plan 9 Music. And you go in there, they had records and cassettes and
you'd be
CDs.
surprised.
And
well, not us, but whoever is listening to this, you'd be surprised how many stores are still out there keeping it alive. Record shops, and
because there's a spot out where we live. Was it McKinney, I think?
Yeah.
That we went out to, and they had a whole it's an old school music store.
Yeah.
Just cassettes, records, CDs,
8-bit tracks.
Yeah. Everything. 8-track tapes, all that. Yeah, the 8-tracks and they had all that stuff,
and
man.
Everything, and then they had like the full blown. They had like the modern ones because there's artists that are still releasing their music in vinyls, but they also have
the old school, the big boy vinyls,
yes.
the big.
They have them too. It's crazy.
And that was I'm glad to see stuff like that still exists and that it's still alive in some kind of way. But
they have posters and everything. Like
I'm saying, like, music used to be so much more eventful. It was like an event when the album came out, and everybody had to go out to the store and buy it, and you had to fight to get your copy to make sure you got it before everybody else, so you could be the first one. Yeah, I heard that news. Like, it's something different about those kind of things. That is one thing I think that does stand the test of time, is that going out to, not like I said, it doesn't even necessarily have to be physical media. It's just the fact that it's so easily accessible now that it doesn't have that same like event. Like watching a movie on your TV, through Xbox. We do it through Xbox. We'll buy a movie and watch that. It doesn't hit the same as going to a theater.
Yes.
You go
or the simple act of like back in the day when you went to Blockbuster to go rent the movie, get the popcorn, and then get the candy, come back home. And just really going through that process of, hey, we're gonna have a family movie night, So
yeah, and we actually still do cool stuff like that. Like I like that we do like I know this is kind of sidetracked, but like for Father's Day recently we did something like
you're
that.
You're about to say what I was gonna bring up.
Oh really?
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you go then. I'll let you go.
Can you let me steal this one?
Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing.
So there's 3 things I wanted to bring up because I wasn't expecting this question, but now that you brought it up, I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. So one of these things that we did recently was the video game launch, like the console launch.
Oh yeah.
Like I've never really been to one. I've heard about it, but by the time these consoles came out, I was young. I was a little girl, so I barely remember any of these things. So now being able to experience this as an adult really reminded me of those good times, because I'm a 90s baby, so I was obviously in the middle of it. So NES was it was everything. They're like, how is it the commercials? Like Nintendo, now you're playing with power.
Now you're playing with power.
Nintendo Power. And so it's like, I always remember these commercials and the magazines and everything back in the day. And recently for the Switch 2 console release, we went and picked up our console at GameStop. And we were there for the midnight release. And it was a really unique and exciting experience of just and the anticipation. You know, you're like, any moment now, the store's about to open and I'm going to pick up a fresh new console.
I ain't gonna lie, like the whole Switch 2 thing, the whole hunt for consoles, because what made it fun for me is that, you know, there's 3 of us in this house.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to go on the hunt for some consoles. And honestly, that was kind of fun. Like, it kind of reminded me of those days of like, I gotta go to this store and see if I can get it here, and then go there and get it there. Like, I was able to get yours at the GameStop, but then I had to run to Target like the next day. Yeah. Like, we went to that midnight release, and then the next day at like 6-7 o'clock in the morning, I'm at Target. I'm outside of Target trying to grab another one, and then we actually managed to grab one when it dropped the first night through Walmart. We ordered one through Walmart, and we got that one for Jay. And just like going through the process of trying to hunt down the console itself just reminded me of those days of like, oh man, because this is the first time I think I've gotten a console at launch since like,
I've always gotten
maybe the Nintendo 64 might have been, but
so I never got one like new, fresh out of the box.
Yeah, it's been a long I think the only one I think I've ever did was no, it wasn't even the N64, because I got that used too. This might have been my first one actually, to getting the day of launch.
We're both on the same page.
Yeah.
And also technically it counts towards our son, because I think that was more exciting to
that was really
have him open a brand new console and just see his face and his excitement, his reaction to it.
He lost it because he didn't think he was gonna get one.
Yeah.
And I just came up with that, and it just came in the mail that day. He was like, what? Is that for me? Oh.
He
lost
was
his
excited.
mind.
So that's one of those things. And then so I guess that my second story time with Zap basically is Father's Day. So this year I wanted to do something special, and once again nostalgia kicked in, and I was like, you know what? We have so many pictures on social media, and I hate the feeling that it's on social media and I don't have a tangible thing that I can look back to. Because I said, if these platforms shut down or I close my account like I did recently, I basically lose all of my memories because all of my pictures are there. So I was like, how do we commemorate the times we've spent together as a family? I was like, you know what? This is a really cool idea. I said, let's go ahead and do a scrapbook album.
Yeah.
And we're going to go ahead and print out all of our pictures.
And it was a lot.
Over 3 years already at this point.
There's a lot of pictures.
And I let you choose pictures. Jay pitched in, I pitched in. And once you know it, we were on a hunt to buy an album, to buy stickers, things, because it was just a really fun activity. I was like, I just want us to be creative. This is our first family album we put together, and it's just a really nice, cool gift, you know, for Babe here as his Father's Day present. And I quickly really realized, and you can pitch in, of course, on this, but as we were going and buying materials, everybody kept saying the same thing to us. They're like, oh, there's barely any albums. People rarely do this. Yeah. And I was very sad about it, because I was like, wow, people don't do this anymore. But when I
shout out to Michaels.
Yeah.
They held it down.
And when we sat down and started doing the album, I had the same feeling like back in the day. Like, just seeing those pictures printed out and placing them somewhere. And now we can just grab the album whenever we want and look back at these memories we've created. It really gives you a sense of like satisfaction.
Oh yeah,
of course.
It definitely, and that's actually what I was going to bring up with. And when I saw you wanted to talk about it, I said I'll let you eat it. But yeah, like when we started that was really special. Like I got to relive a lot of the stuff that happened since I moved to Texas to be with you. And it was cool just to see how far we've come from then to now, to even realize the fact that it's been 3 years, and that, you know, Leon is on the verge of becoming 1 year old, and Like, it's just, we've lived a whole life together, and I feel like I feel like it's still like the first day. Like, I feel like I'm still new to Texas. I still feel like we've only been together for a couple of months, even though it's been like 4 years now.
It's
like,
crazy.
It's insane when you really go back and you look at all those things, and like, those are the moments that really make you feel at home, make you feel at peace. And the reason why I wanted to ask that question is because I want people to understand, like, the topic that we're talking about. It goes both ways. I want people to understand there's people from the old school that say the new school stuff ain't what it's supposed to be, blah, 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 blah. There's people in the new school saying the old school stuff ain't blah, 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 blah. But what you got to understand is that there's good and bad in both.
Yeah.
There were flaws in the past, but there were also good things in the past. There are flaws in the future, but there are also good things in the future. Yeah, maybe people don't do things that the way they used to do, but we have the ability to reach people that we could never reach before.
Yeah.
We have the ability to have our voices be heard in a way that probably would never have been heard before in the past. So it's like, I want people to understand that things can go both ways. That, nostalgia can be a good thing, but it can also, like you said, cloud our judgment of what things really were. Like, there were things that were wrong with the past. Like, the 90s aren't necessarily any better than the 2000s or the 2010s or whatever the case may be.
Present time, yeah.
Everything changes, and that is a quote, and I think I've said on this podcast before, is that the only thing that never changes is that things change. So, like, things are different, yes, and you may not understand it and you may not get it, and there's going to be some good and there's going to be some bad that comes with that, but don't let nostalgia cloud your judgment of what's happening now or what happened then, because there is, like I said, both positive and negative on both ends. And I want people to understand that instead of judging, let's try to be understanding. Let's try to see the good of the past. Let's try to see the good of the future, because then we can bring those things together and make something even greater. So that's kind of why I wanted to take that alternative approach, so people could see that it goes both ways.
And just finding that balance, like you said, is the key word here. Is the balance between embracing what you've learned from the past, but then moving forward with what the future has in store for us is always going to bring you present joy. I've heard that a lot of times, how people say that, if you live constantly with anxiety, it's because you're worried about the future. If you live in depression, it's because you're constantly stuck in the past.
That's nice. I like that.
So being able to just be present and enjoy what you're going through as of right now is something that I'm even learning to do as we speak right now. There's nothing wrong with, achieving goals, creating goals for yourself, and building that plan, that long-term plan, getting that house, working towards that house, working towards that career, whatever your dreams are. But realizing to enjoy the process. Sit down, enjoy the process, because the process brings more joy than achieving your end goal.
Yeah, the journey. It's all about the journey, not the destination.
All about the journey. Yeah. And I just love that we finally had this conversation for real, because
I like that.
If anything, now I'm seeing it that way. I'm like, okay, if I'm feeling nostalgic about something, if I'm craving for something, and if I'm missing something, there's a reason why. So,
and bring it back.
Bring it back.
Bring it back. We bringing photo albums back. We bringing it back, baby.
I was like, and we had a great conversation. There was great talking point opportunities presented there as well, because we got to talk to our child and talk to him about how times were back in the day, what's an album, have him go through that process. If we wouldn't have done the scrapbook album, he would have never known what it's like to even experience something like that. So even presenting those opportunities to your family, to your children, to your relatives is so beneficial, because it helps them understand where you're coming from as an individual.
Yeah, and going back to our previous talking point, the reason why we were able to do that was because of new age technology. We were able to have all those pictures because of our phones and the cameras that they have. And we are able to take pictures of moments that we couldn't, we was talking about this the other day about the old school disposable cameras. Yeah, which they still make, which I was very impressed by. But like disposable cameras, there was a limit to how many pictures you could take. You had 20, 25 pictures, and then that was it. But with this new technology now, we're able to take pictures. We're able to take thousands and thousands
Limitless.
and thousands of pictures. And we're able to print out all these pictures from memory. So we were able to combine new school with old school.
It's embracing.
And we
That's
made
all it
something
is.
great because of it. Like now we have pictures from every moment of our lives, and we have it in a physical form. So we were able to take that new technology and do it into something that's old school and bring those two things together.
We've even done that with our music, where the recent albums we created, we went out of our way and made physical CDs
Oh yeah.
for them. So we have something tangible of our music. So when we look back, we're like, we made this, and we can actually play it because it's a real CD.
Yeah.
It ain't a freaking prop.
I like this conversation.
Yeah.
This was dope.
I feel like this is way more deeper than what we're making it seem, because I mean, really, you can go in so many ways with this conversation. But
I can see this being revisited.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because it's man.
It's a really interesting discussion to have, because I'm really curious about now hearing from our peeps out there, things like you said that, you know, they were good in the past and they're still good as of right now, or the opposite, you know, they may be blurring your vision and destroying or ruining your present joy for things, you know.
Yeah, like Ocarina of Time.
I feel like sometimes for us as human beings, it's hard to embrace the change. We're always kind of stuck in our own ways, and we don't want to, you know, admit that things are changing. But if we learn how to embrace the past with the future, we can enjoy our present. And that's a beautiful way to tie it right there.
Let's do it then.
Yeah. Well, guys, I enjoyed having this conversation, and I want to remind you that if you want to be a part of this, you can drop even suggestions of discussions we can have, thanks to social media. You know, we're in the current times, y'all. So make sure to follow TeeJay the Gamer.
Yes, I.
Both on X and on Instagram under
I still don't like X.
Master Sword. What is it? Master Sword Music
Master Sword Music.
is your handler.
Yeah, I'm Master Sword Music on everything, baby.
And then my social media accounts, which is as simple as resetnzap, both on Instagram and on X. Make sure to follow us over there for any newsletters and things that are currently going on with the podcast for season 4. And leave reviews, leave your ratings. If you have any suggestions of discussions we should have, feel free to drop them in the comments below. We'll look into it and see if we can make them a reality, either in season 4 or in an upcoming season.
Yeah, because it's going to be like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's
Yeah,
going to be all the seasons.
Yeah, we got all the seasons.
Fall, winter. Oh, wrong seasons.
As always, I want to remind you guys to always reset
And what?
and zap
For the what?
for the week. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Yeah, now you got to do it like 90s style.
Peace. New R&B music. DJ Clue. Illuminati.
104.7.
Damn, son, where did you find this one? Peace.
Now you're playing with power. Reset and zap power.
Yeah. Look at you.